Hello everyone, and welcome to the first video of 2021. Hopefully it doesn't suck as bad as 2020 did. If you're a follower of the channel, you probably know that I have an obsession for cameras. So, some time ago I thought maybe I should make a video about my camera collection, also known as the definition of loneliness. So, let's start the video, I guess. I really need to plan my intros better. Also, I'm filming this on a new lens, so that's cool. Check out that background blur. It's amazing. I'm only ever gonna do these episodes when I really don't have that much else to film, so don't expect these videos to come out frequently. Also, I'm only gonna be showing off 5 cameras per episode because I don't want these videos to be like 20 minutes long. Okay, now that I'm done rambling, let's actually talk about cameras. The first camera I'd like to talk about is my Olympus Stylus 770 SW. This is the camera that kind of started my camera collection. As soon as I got this one, I decided I wanted to find more old cameras to collect. So yeah, I thought I'd start with this camera. As you can see right there, it's basically an action camera. f3.5 lens, 7.1 megapixel photos, and 480p video. There we go. It works. Here's a test photo taken with this camera. And here's a test video in the form of a sketch I made a while ago. And it even takes high quality video with waterproofness. Let me give you an example. See? It's waterproof. Next camera is my 2011 Pentax Q. I actually made a video about this camera. That video sucks, by the way. 12 megapixel photos, 1080p video, although it looks like 720p. This is actually one of the smallest interchangeable lens cameras in the world. I'm pretty sure it still is the smallest. I honestly really do not like this camera. The launch price of this camera is all going towards that small size, and it's really just so sad that it's like $750 for this. It's not even a good camera. It's really not. It's not terrible either, but it's just like, no. Right now, I've got the 5 to 15mm f2.8 lens on it. I don't have any other good lenses for this camera. Oh, come on! Look, it's working. Here's a test photo taken with this camera. And here's a test video taken with this camera. Check it out. Those are some cameras, I guess. Something that really bugs me about this camera is that the autofocus is really terrible. It also doesn't let you autofocus during videos, so that's pretty annoying too. Next up is my 2010 Canon Powershot A3100 IS. 12 megapixel photos and 480p video. The photos that come out of this thing honestly rival the Pentax Q in terms of quality. The saturation and color temperature are kinda off on this camera though. And there's also no RAW feature like there is on the Pentax Q. But if we're talking about my point and shoots, this one's my best. I also do have a Powershot A2200. It takes higher resolution photos, but honestly, this camera still takes sharper photos than the A2200. And also, this one's actually got image stabilization. Image stabilization is so useful for cameras like these, because the sensors are so small that it really doesn't perform well in low light. But something that really annoys me is that NB8L batteries, like the ones that come out of this camera, they swell so easily. This is the NB8L battery that came out of my A2200. I think it's only ever been charged like 5 times and it's swelling. The battery that came out of my A3100 IS was perfectly fine, but as soon as I got it fully charged, it was swollen. It still holds a charge perfectly fine, so I'm not that worried, but like, come on, Canon. Ta-da! Canon's point-and-shoot lenses are very loud. Another thing that I really like about this camera is that when you focus, it shows like a zoomed-in preview of the thing you're focused on. Of course, it's not going to do it right now because it can't focus on my face. See? There it is. Anyway, here's a photo test of this camera. And now, here's a video test of this camera. You really want to go outside, don't you? Wait. Open it all the way. Wait! Wait! He's insane! Oh yeah, and this one also doesn't let you focus during video. In this case, I can kind of understand it though, because it's a point-and-shoot camera that was $160 when it came out. Next up, my 2001 Nikon Coolpix 775. 2 megapixel photos and 240p video. As you can tell by this lens, it's really not in great condition. f1.9 lens, by the way, but This thing is really, really broken. If I try to zoom in with this camera, it just completely bricks up. Also, this battery does not hold a charge anymore. Honestly, I think the funniest thing about this camera is that the screen is like smaller than a postage stamp. Well, my footage corrupted, so I have to refilm this section. Anyway, this camera still does work. Ta-da! Anyway, here's a photo test with this camera. And here's a video test with this camera. No, it does not have a microphone. Here is my 2007 Sony Cybershot S650. 7.2 megapixel photos and 480p video, I believe. f2.8 lens. There we go. I don't really have anything to critique about this camera besides the fact that the internal storage is microscopically small. It can only store 5 7 megapixel fine photos on this thing. And what makes it worse is that the card format is Memory Stick Pro Duo. I never had a PS Vita or anything, so I don't have any cards for it. I'm honestly not sure if this camera has a microphone, so... Well, what do you think the holes on the front of the camera are for, you dumbass? Can you shut the fuck up? Okay, this video is still only 6 minutes long, so I'm gonna do 2 more cameras. Sorry for my voice, I kinda like just woke up to finish filming this. So, let's start with my 2005 Kodak EasyShare C300. There we go. 3.2 megapixel photos and 240p video. And the lens is an f4.5. Yeah, the low light performance is miserable. I swear this thing has like a webcam sensor or something. You could face this thing straight up against a light bulb and it would still need the flash. Let me give you an example. There are 3 lights over there. If anything, the flash just ruined the picture. Also, yes, it is fixed focus, there's no zoom. But honestly, the photos that come out of this thing are pretty nice. Considering it's only 3.2 megapixels, it's not that bad. The battery compartment's a little bit broken on mine, but it still works perfectly fine. Another thing that's really annoying about this thing is that it doesn't take any of my SD cards. The card you use has to be a Kodak card for it to work, otherwise it'll just send you into a formatting loop. But luckily this thing does have some internal storage and I'm able to store about 16 photos on it. But the data transfer speed from this thing is incredibly slow. I swear it takes like 5 seconds to load a 600 kilobyte photo. It does transfer photos from the camera to my computer just fine, but it doesn't actually play them straight through the cable. So, here's a photo with this camera. And here's a video from this camera. It doesn't have a microphone. Next up is my Polaroid A801. 8 megapixel photos and 480p video. I'm not sure what the aperture of this lens is, but I do know that it's fixed focus. Ta-da! You may be saying right now that this might be a good camera because Polaroid's a reputable company, but this camera was made after the company got sold. So it's made by the same people that put the Polaroid brand name on fake AirPods. Now that you know that, let me tell you why this thing is terrible. First of all, the focal point is like 5 feet away. I'm not even joking. If you want something to be in focus on this camera, it has to be at least 5 feet away. It's ridiculous. This thing is just a repeat of that Tovendor trail cam I did a review on. Also, the 8 megapixel resolution of this camera is pretty fake. Even my Sony Cybershot S650 does better than this. But it gets worse. There are multiple Amazon reviews on this camera saying this thing blows up. I don't know what causes the issue, but they say like they can't turn the camera on and then they hold the power button until it starts to smell like burning. There was also a person who just had it randomly explode. So yeah, by having this camera in my house, it's a fire risk. Insert video of me spraying a fire extinguisher at this here. There's also reviews saying the flash on this thing takes a while to charge up, so let's test that. There we go, it's done. Now let's waste it. That is the weakest flash I have ever seen. Anyway, here's a photo test on this camera. And here's a video test on this camera. Yeah, this thing's a piece of junk. And that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. This might even be the last video I film in this house. Anyway, yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Like if you want my eyebrows to grow back. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.